The four craziest, weirdest, strangest things I ever seen in LA County. Make sure you hang around for the end on this one because it gets wild.
Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too. Let's get.
All right, guys, as you can see by the title and the thumbnail, this is the strangest things I seen in LA County Jail. And I'll give you a couple of examples of that. Uh, first of all, I want to say LA County Jail is notorious for being a really tough place to do time. The gangs, even the deputies have their own gangs. So, I mean, going in as a white boy basically with no gang affiliation, like I was a fish out of water to say the least. But before we get into this, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that like button, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Tell me about some weird stuff you've seen happen in LA County Jail. If you've been there, I'm sure you've got some stories. Also, hit that notification bell so that anytime I go live, you will be notified, or when I drop a new video, you'll be notified as well. Also, hit that bell notification and put it on all. That way you will be notified. Also, share the video. It really helps to get the message out there because the message is about sobriety, and that's really what this channel is about. But I tell stories of where my addiction took me basically, and this was one of those places. Also, you can become a member of the channel. Just hit that join button and take a look at the different tiers of membership and go ahead and make your selection if you so choose to. Okay, so LA County Jail, like I said, tough place to do time, especially for a non-affiliated white guy, right? So when I was out there in the streets hustling, I always figured I would pick up in San Bernardino County. I had business going on in Orange County and like Anaheim and Fullerton and some of those places down that way. Occasionally I would dip into Long Beach, but I'd pass through Riverside to get from San Bernardino to Orange County. So I always figured if I got popped for drugs, it would be in Riverside, Orange, or San Bernardino counties. So boy, was I surprised when, after being up for a couple days and on a good one, I got busted in Pico Rivera. And Pico Rivera is a area not too far from Los Angeles, maybe a half an hour or so, I guess. I'm not from that area, so I don't know exactly. If I'm wrong, drop a comment and let me know. But yeah, I ended up in the Pico Rivera substation and eventually in LA County Jail, where that would become my home away from home over the next 6 years or so. Now, the thing is, like I said, going in there as a non-affiliated white guy, sorry guys, it's a little warm out here. The main concern you think would be having issues with the gangs and stuff like that. And that's not to say that I didn't have issues like that at times, but I ran across some weird things that happen in LA County Jail. So let me tell you a couple of stories on that. So my first time in LA County Jail, they put me in the trustee dorm, which was 9500 at the time. And 9500 had a bunch of parole violators and stuff like that, basically. A lot of dudes that have been around. And, so I got a good education up there as far as the do's, the don'ts, all that stuff. I hadn't been arrested in a long time, so I kind of needed a refresher course, if you will, on, how to function as an inmate, basically, the expectations of the white convict, right? So, I'm working up there and we're I'm working in the kitchen. So, we would go and we would feed the 5,000 floor. We would, where else? We would go down, we'd feed all the floors basically 2,000 floor, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I don't think there's a 6, 7, and 8. I think it goes to the 9,000 after that. I could be wrong. Like I said, if I'm wrong, drop a comment and let me know. But I never heard of 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 floors as far as LA County Jail goes. And then you have like the 1,000, which is like high power stuff like that. But we were feeding the inmates, and we'd have these push carts with trays. Well, no, they weren't trays. They were like milk cartons, and they had like sack lunches in them doing breakfast. And basically, sack lunch typically in LA County is a couple of hard boiled eggs, a little thing of milk, picture like your kid would drink with their school lunch, and maybe like a fruit juice or something with it, and maybe one other item. Uh, and that was a typical, breakfast. So, in going out and handing these out, we would go, the deputy would unlock a dorm, we would walk in, and they would form a line and we would hand them out. Okay, so going to the 5,000 floor, that's where they housed the K-11s. And that's what they were called at that time. I don't know what, if they've changed that or what the deal is, but everybody has a K designation in LA County. I think the higher the number, maybe the higher security threat or something. I'm not 100% sure on that. If you know, drop a comment and let me know. But so we go to, we're in like 5,500 or something. And this is the K-11s. This is the homosexual dorm, basically. And we would, every morning when we would go in there, these guys would be so dramatic. We'd get that, hey, type of welcome. And like, all you could do was kind of chuckle, like it was different in a facility full of hardcore people to come into that environment. And that seemed so strange to me, you know. Now, don't get it twisted. These homosexuals will fight. And some of these homosexuals have hands like you wouldn't believe. I always did my best not to get in fights with homosexuals. So, nothing against them, like do whatever makes you happy in this life. But yeah, that just seemed so strange to me. Like every morning, it's almost as if they knew we were about to come in. And, it was almost like a scene from The Longest Yard. If you remember the cheerleaders, give me a D, give me an I type of thing. But yeah, that was like one of the first things that really like kind of blew my mind in there. Because like I said, you go to the 2,000 floor, the 3,000 floor, like high power, like everybody's so chingon and, you know, want to be high power. Maybe they are high power. I don't know. But then you get to the K-11 section and it's a whole different world, And shout out to them. Hey, do your thing. If that's what floats your boat, then, handle business, right? So, yeah, that was the first thing. The second thing, I think I was in on a violation. I had come from either Riverside or San Bernardino County because eventually I ended up on probation in all three of those counties, Riverside, San Bernardino, and LA. So I got caught up in this carousel of, I catch a violation in Riverside, San Bernardino's got a hold on me, LA's got a hold on me. So like it became so monotonous that after a while I was just like, please send me to prison. Like I got probation officers all over Southern California. I can't keep up. So I was back into LA County Jail again. And for those of you that have been there, when you get processed in, typically they'll shoot you up to one of the floors to some cell living type of situation. And then after a day or two, they ship you out to Wayside. That way, until your court date gets close and then they transport you back. A lot of people used to say that they get paid extra to, ship you back and forth on the buses. I don't know how that stuff works, but so I'm getting processed in. They shoot me up to whatever floor it was. I honestly don't recall. They were 6-man cells, though. I do remember that. And so I come into the cell, and typically when you come into the cell, you're gonna shake people's hands. Hey, what's up? I'm Bobby from IE, and mucho gusto type of thing, and or nice to meet you, depending on or what's up. If they seem like they might be hostile or whatever. But initially, you show respect. And if you're just coming in, a lot of times there's overcrowding, so there may be floor sleepers. Fortunate for me this time, the 6-man cell wasn't full, and there was this gangster cholo guy, and he jumps down. Hey, mucho gusto, fool. He says, hey, you got the bottom rack. Now, anybody that's ever done any time knows nobody wants that top rack. So right away, my senses are tingling. Like, well, what's wrong with the bottom rack? But okay, cool. I appreciate you, homie. We'll chop it up in the morning. It's late, right? So, I make my bed best I can with the crappy stuff that LA County Jail gives you, ripped up sheets and all that good stuff. And so I'm laying there, right? Trying to get some shut eye. And out of the corner of my eye, I see something. Pew! So I'm like, that caught my eye. Like, it looked like a cat. But it wasn't. What was it, Bobby? It was Freeway Ricky. For those of you that are familiar with LA County Jail, you know what I'm talking about. There were giant rats running around in this place. And, I felt like I needed to make a peace just so I could get off on them if they got too close. But luckily for me, later on that day, they transferred me out, I think, to Medium North at Wayside, which is Pitch's Detention Center. And I don't think I ever ended up back in that section again. But the infestation, like, of rats and rodents in that section was ridiculous. I heard they were chewing through people's commissary bags and eating their soups. Can you imagine getting chingazos with a pinche rata for some sopas? Oh me, oh my. Anyways, I'm having some fun with this one, guys, as you can tell. So I'm going to try to do 2 more real quick. The last one is the craziest one of all that I ever seen. But so I'm in Supermax. I believe it was 723 LA County Jail, Pitch's Detention Center. This is a dorm setting. And okay, so you come into there. If all the bunks are full, they have these, they call them boats. It's like this big plastic thing that you put your bedroll in, and you sleep in that on the floor. So you're a floor sleeper basically on a boat. You're not quite on the floor, but might as well be. You don't have a bunk. So what I would do with that for the day or two that I was on that until a bunk became available, when it was, lights out, time shutdown program, there were stairs over on, as you're coming into the right of the dorm. And there was an upstairs section and a downstairs section. So I didn't want to just be laying out there so somebody could come up and get off on me or something. So I would take my boat and push it under the stairs so that at least something was above me. It gave me a sense of security. It is what it is, right? But so I'm laying there I'm catching some Z's, and this big crazy gangster fool, I'm not going to say where he was from, but he comes down the stairs. He has some sort of mental breakdown in the middle of the night. And for the story, we're going to call him Jeffrey, so as not to tip the hand as to which group he ran with. But Jeffrey came down the stairs. He had a mental breakdown. There's bars at the front of Supermax in LA County. And he's up there by the bars. And I hear him come down the steps. So I wake up and I'm looking over there. I'm kind of half awake, trying to wipe boogers out of my eyes. And the guard's over there. Hey, Jeffrey, come here, come here. And he's got a Bible in his hand. Like, not the little pocket Bible that you normally get, but he had a real Bible. And he's ripping pages out and he's throwing them at the guard saying, God bless you. God bless you. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is crazy. Like, I don't know what kind of charges he was facing or what his deal was, but there's a lot of people in there that are fighting life sentences. And maybe that was the case. I don't know. I didn't know the guy. But eventually, what would happen is now in between sections in Supermax, when you go upstairs, and I believe downstairs, there's a door that leads you from one section to the next. So the deputies came in up there, came charging down the steps, took Jeffrey down. I don't know if they hit him with the pepper spray or not. I don't remember, but they ended up getting him out of there. And that was the end of Jeffrey. And I hope Jeffrey ended up being all right, you know. I didn't know him. I hadn't been in there that long. But yeah, that was another crazy one. And now we'll get to the last one, the craziest thing I ever really truly seen in LA County Jail. So I'm on 2900 Charlie Row, which is upstairs. You have Abel Row downstairs, Charlie Row upstairs. I'm in 2900 Charlie Row. I'm about halfway down. I was in Charlie 9. I vividly remember this because this was the last place I was ever in the county jail before they sent me to prison. Okay. So I'm in there. I'm a night owl, you know, and a lot of the people on that tier were the same. It wasn't really hardcore programming, like you got to be up at 4 a.m. and roll your mattress up and all this type of stuff. Like a lot of times we would be up until breakfast came, and then we would go to sleep, and then get up at lunch when lunch came around, and then catch another cat nap, and then get up at dinner time and program all night. What little program you had in there. So everybody's up. It's early in the morning, probably a couple hours until breakfast arrives, which is typically somewhere between 5 and 6 a.m. And all of a sudden, there's a blackout. You're locked in a cell. This was a 4-man cell. It was me and 3 others. We were all cool. Had the homie Blue next door in Charlie 10. The only other Wood that was there for any period of time, he was waiting on the chain just like I was. And we get this blackout. Everything goes dark. And it's like, what the heck just happened, you know? So, I'm up at the bars. Hey, Blue, what's going on, bro? You know, like, any idea? And he's like, I was about to ask you the same, bro. Like, I've never seen this before. And he had a lot more experience with LA County than I did. I had pretty extensive experience at this point, but I hadn't seen it. None of my Sallys had seen it. Complete blackout. And I guess what was happening was they were doing some sort of a training deal with the deputies, because we start seeing these lights flashing from down the tier. And we're probably, if I had to guess, maybe 150 feet from the door, that would put you out in the hallway. So we start seeing these lights flashing like flashlights, and we're like, what the heck is going on? Like, we're all bugging out, like we're tripping, like, man, this is crazy, you know? So all of a sudden, these guys come down like in full tactical blacked out gear with the face masks on and stuff, in their flashlights. And we're like, are they about to hit somebody's cell, or what the heck is going on? And they proceed down the tier, and we have our little makeshift mirrors, but they're not very good. It's usually like the inside of a chip pack reversed on something round, and you hold it out and try to, like you see on American Me or something, right? Or an old prison movie. But those mirrors aren't, it's a makeshift mirror. It's not very good. And can't really tell what's going on, but maybe 10 or 15 minutes go by. Everybody's kind of talking shit on the tier, like, what the heck? And all of a sudden, the lights come back on. And it's like nothing ever happened. But yeah, that really tripped us all out on that one. That was some crazy stuff. So, I guess the moral of the story, as it always is with me, guys, is if we don't break the law and we don't do stupid shit, then we won't end up in places like this and won't have to deal with these sort of situations. People having mental breakdowns can be very dangerous, especially when it's a big ass gangster that's having a mental breakdown. If you're, uneasy about being in a cell and stuff like that, when it blacks out, it seems a lot more intense, I'll tell you. You know, uh, those big rats, it is what it is. Like the deputies used to always like saying, if you don't like the amenities, then don't come to jail, type of thing. So, that's the story for the day. If you're thinking about getting into sobriety, it's a great day to get started. Uh, I've been at this for 20 years now. And, every day isn't perfect, but my worst day sober is 10 times better than my best day when I was getting high. So, if you're thinking about jumping over to the sobriety side, come on over. There's plenty of room for you over here, and we welcome you with open arms. So, family, fitness, and freedom are the things that delivered me from my addiction and set me free, and they can help you as well. The thing is, you just got to put one foot in front of the other. You got to take that first step and admit that you're powerless over this addiction, this substance, this alcohol, whatever it may be. If you have control of it, then it's not a problem, right? But if you're getting locked up and you're not paying your damn bills, then it's a problem. So, anyways, hope everybody's going to have a great week. I will be going live later on tonight, which is actually last night by the time this video drops. But I hope to see everybody there, and I will be going live Monday night as well. So please be sure to join me. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that like button, drop a comment, share the video, share the video, share the video. That's the most important thing. Share the video so we can get this message out. Hit that notification bell so that anytime I go live or I drop a new video, you'll be the first one to know. Also, hit that join button down there and select a membership status. This is the absolute best way to support Broken Bobby's transformation and what the agenda that I am pushing. So if you know somebody that's struggling with sobriety or with addiction, share this video to them. It really helps. I can't tell you how much it helps. And I'll leave you guys with this. Don't look at the mountain. Just start climbing.